Okay, so I tried to record this from my phone, but I was recording like my hand over here and you couldn't really see what I was doing. So I'm going to try it again from my computer. And this is how you start um, the hat crochet thing. The first thing you need to do is get an eye hook. Let's see, can you see that there? It's backwards, but it's an eye hook. And you need to start with a slip knot. You should probably know how to do a slip knot, but I'll show you just in case. The way I do it, other people do it different ways. I wrap the yarn around my fingers 2 times. I'm going to have to do this backwards for you to see what I'm doing. Maybe I'll do it sideways. Okay. I pull the yarn on the left over the yarn on the right, and then I do it again, yarn on the left over the yarn on the right, and I put my hook through the yarn on the left, take it off my fingers, and I've got a slip knot. That's how I do my slip knot. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that being perfect because I'm pretty sure you know how to do that. The first thing we do to make the hat is chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to turn this chain into a ring by inserting the hook back in the first loop that we made, the first chain that we made, and slip stitching through it. So yarn over. I don't know if this is still recording me because it went blank. I don't think it is. I think I'm going to have to start over. And this time I'll have to move. Oh, it says stop, so maybe it's continued going. Alright, so yarn over. Right now we've got the hook through the chains we were making and the first chain. We're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops that are on the hook. 1, 2. What that's done is created a circle that we're going to start with. We're going to be making our first round into this circle. And it might seem like this is too small to fit everything that the pattern says to fit into it, but it does fit. It stretches and it fits, so we're good to go. Everything that I'm going to show you how to do in this circle now is the same things that you're going to be doing in the future rounds in the spaces that you'll create in this round and in the next rounds. So the first thing we're going to do is make a beginning cluster, which it tells you how to do at the very beginning of the pattern, before it even says round 1. It gives you the instructions for beginning clusters and clusters. Beginning clusters, you start by chaining 3. So just chain 3, just like we were doing at the beginning. We're not worrying about pulling up loops, we're just chaining 3. Okay, now we're going to do what's usually called stitch 2 together. You wrap it around the hook, wrap your yarn around the hook, put it into the circle that you created, and pull up a loop. So wrap it again, pull what you just wrapped through that loop. Now you've got 3 loops on the hook. This is the beginning of a double crochet, right? So you're going to wrap it around the hook again and pull through 2. If you were doing a double crochet, you would wrap and pull through these 2 that are on the hook now. But we're doing 2 together, so we leave the last step for the end, and we're going to do another stitch. So wrap the yarn around the hook, put it through the loop, wrap the yarn around the hook again, pull up that loop. Now you've got 4 on the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook, pull it through 2, just like the beginning of a double crochet stitch. Now you've got 3 on the hook. And because this is 2 together, we're ready to finish it off. We're going to wrap the yarn around the hook and pull it through all 3 of those loops that are on the hook. Now for this round, we're going to be making our spaces with 3 chains in between each cluster. So here's our first beginning cluster. We've still got this ring over here that we're working in. Now we're going to chain 3. What this will do is create a space that we're going to work in for the next round. That's why this pattern alternates where the clusters are, because wherever there's a cluster in this round, there will be a space in the next round. And wherever there's a space in this round, there will be a cluster in the next round, and so on and so forth. So we've just chained 3, and now we're going to do a cluster. Now what I showed you for the beginning cluster is the beginning of every round. The rest of the clusters in every round are what I'm going to show you next. After you've done however many chains it said to do, which is making that hole, you're going to make a cluster. What you do is wrap the yarn around the hook. You're starting again like a double crochet, okay? Wrap the yarn around the hook, go through this loop, pull up a loop. You've got 3 on the hook. It's still like a double crochet because we're going to wrap around and pull through 2. It's the first step of a double crochet, but we're not doing the second step. We're going to go on as if we're starting another double crochet. Okay, so wrap the yarn, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn, and pull through 2. Now here's the difference between the cluster and the beginning cluster. On the beginning cluster, you'd be ready to pull through all of them. But on the other clusters, you're going to do that one more time. So wrap the yarn, put it through the loop, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn, pull through 2 loops on the hook. You've got 4 loops now. You've done that 3 times, which means you're ready to finish it off. So wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through all 4 loops. You've just made your first cluster. Now chain 3, because on this round, we're chaining 3 in between every cluster. Okay? And we're going to do it again. I'm going to do it the best I can to show you what I'm doing as I go. I'm going to turn my computer right now so that I can just put my hands in front of the screen, but I won't be able to see what I'm doing. So hopefully you can see. And then when I go on to round 2, I'll turn it so that I can see again and make sure that you see. Because what I'm doing right now is going to be the same thing over and over again for 7 clusters in this little loop. 7 clusters going into this loop. Everything we're doing into this loop this time, on the future rounds, we'll be doing into the spaces which we've created between the clusters. Okay? Nothing goes into an individual stitch or the top of these clusters until the very end. Until then, you're just following the pattern for how many clusters to do in each one of these spaces, and how many chains to make each space. Because at the beginning we've got 3, then it'll go down to 2, and then it'll go down to 1. But at the beginning we'll be making 2 clusters in each space, whereas at the end we'll only be making 1 in each one. Alright, so I'm turning the computer around so that you can watch